Y'all ready for this? Hi, this is Olena of olenaballet.com, and welcome to today's Clearly Aligned Live. We have been on such a wonderful roll, or with this wonderful momentum of alignment for the last few days on these lives, that I'm like, I gotta do it again. Yes, 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 yes. And today I've been so excited. Like I wanted to be live like an hour ago, but I waited patiently for 3 p.m. Paris time because that is our, usual time to meet up and talk. Oh, good to see you guys. I see Tatiana is here. Dobry den. Christina is here. Kristen Patterson. Moralice. Give me your emoji for your vibration. Like, what are you feeling in an emoji? Mine, like I told you guys, is that heart emoji with like hearts around the face. That's my emoji. And I love that emoji. It's just so adorable. I'm so happy that they came up with that one. It's the small pleasures. Oh, Samantha is here. Good to see you. AJ, woo, okay, some of you look pretty happy. All right, those are some good emojis. Ooh, Samantha, that's a very good lineup of emojis. Sparkle, lightning, and the one that I like with the hearts on the face. That's so cute. A rainbow. Love it. So, lots to discuss today. We've been kind of recently on about alignment and manifesting, and of course clear skin, but also we've kind of taken it further to other aspects of your life, right? And so today I want to talk about basically all of that, but more, expand on some of these ideas, maybe touch on them from like a different perspective again and again and again, because the more we talk about this stuff, the easier it becomes to really implement it in your life. When you can understand it intellectually, then you start really like wanting to apply it in various aspects of your life, right? And you make these tiny little shifts. It's all that it is tiny little shifts in awareness that changes how you think, how you do stuff, how you behave, right? And then that gets you all the magical results, right? And it's these tiny shifts that I believe, like they're the only things that are necessary. It's tiny little shifts in awareness rather than all this action, right? Yesterday I was talking about how we think that we get points for doing more, right? Like it's a worthiness issue. It always comes down to a worthiness issue. If we felt like we were these wonderful, infinite beings where everything was available to us, infinite love, infinite abundance, infinite health, infinite anything, joy, love, whatever you want, available to you, right? If you knew that that was you, then you would feel worthy, right? But when we forget that that's actually who we are, then we feel unworthy. And then when we feel unworthy, that feeling is so fucking unnatural that we feel like we have to justify ourselves, our existence here. And the easiest way we tend to do that is action. But also, we have been taught, because we have been taught by other people who are out of alignment, right, in our lives, whether it's our teachers, our classmates, our parents even, right? Like all these other people who are out of alignment, they taught us that action is important. Action. But action is a very slow way to manifest. It's slow as fuck, okay? And a lot of you may know that already because you may have been trying so hard to get the perfect health, or trying so hard to get the perfect skin, or trying so hard to find the perfect partner, right? You're doing all these things, doing, and you're telling other people like, but I'm doing all these things, and then you're not getting the results. And I hear a lot of acne sufferers, I put this in quotation marks, right? I hear a lot of acne sufferers go like, but I don't understand. She doesn't do anything to her skin and she has clear skin. Meanwhile, I'm like restricting all the food groups. I'm, applying all the skincare. I'm exercising 6 times a week. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. I'm healing my childhood traumas. I've healed my chakras, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly it. That's exactly your answer right here. The other person is just chilling. That's why they have the results. You, on the other end, you think you have to do all the things, but you only are doing them to basically justify your worth in having those things. So some of us, we believe innately that something is available to us, like true love, so we get it. But others don't believe it innately, and so we think we have to earn it somehow. But this is true for anything, whether it's health, Because many people, they think they have to earn the health as though it's some, you know, I don't know, fucking job, you know, and they make it their job. And what's interesting is when we do things from this perspective of doing, I'm not worthy, have to prove that I'm worthy, have to earn the clear skin, have to earn the abundance, have to earn the love. The way we go about it is so funny because you'll notice when you're out of alignment and you're Googling a solution for acne, you're usually, this is what I found. And I think this is the most Googled question when it comes to acne. It's, how do I get rid of acne? That's the most Googled question. When I was doing my research, I believe that was the one that kept coming up. How do I get rid of acne? Not like, how do I understand skin? What is healthy skin? You know, skin's biology. Like, let's learn about skin's biology so that then we can understand what is acne, what is it a response to, and then the solution to it would come far more easily if you're learning about the skin itself as opposed to how to get rid of acne. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that our perception and our beliefs, especially about unworthiness, they frame the questions we ask. And then the answers we get are based on that frame that we just boxed ourselves into. Okay? And that's what I find. Many people, they want that fucking solution, right? Because they think there's a problem. Oh, shit. But what I mean by that is something came to me a while ago and I've been meaning to share it, and yet I've been getting distracted with other messages, right, that I feel like were needed to be shared. And one of them was that acne is made up. It's not natural. Does this make sense? You know, the words are, no, it's not. I have it on my face. Yes, but it's made up in your reality. As in, it's a thing that you created in your own perception, and therefore you're experiencing it in your own reality. Like, it's a made up thing. It's not actually a real thing. And many of us, we make it up for ourselves. And many of us, we make it up for ourselves when actually everything's totally fine in our lives. But we lack the gratitude in that present moment, right? Because we feel that unworthiness, like, fuck, okay, everything's fine in my life, but no, I have to prove my worth. How do I prove my worth? Like, ooh, you know, there's something wrong with me. Ooh, what is it? Oh, it's this tiny little dot on my face. Ooh, what is that tiny little dot? And then you Google, oh, that's acne? That tiny one little dot on my face? And then you get into it, and then you create full-blown cystic acne, and then you're like, how do I get rid of acne? Does this make sense? But I have like so much to say, but it's getting a little bottlenecked. So I'm going to read some of your comments for now. Let me see what y'all are saying. Rhubarb says, hello, are you going to do a video about microneedling? Yes, it's already filmed and it's going to land on Sunday on YouTube. But you have been asking me multiple times as though there's a fire somewhere. And the way to put out the fire is to get this video. But I'm excited about your enthusiasm. The microneedling video that explains why your face might look like feet if you microneedle is dropping on Sunday. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, to my YouTube channel, you fucking better, because you want to be on top of that shit so you're first to be notified when that video drops on Sunday, okay? Thank you for asking. Bethy Rose says, hey, currently sat in sun listening. #winning. Fantastic. I'm happy that you finally made it, Bethy Rose. It's about damn time. Bethy Rose says, it certainly does. Sometimes just hard to keep that in mind. Yeah, so I want to ask you this, especially if you have acne still. How much time do you spend talking about how healthy you are? How much time do you spend talking about how happy you are? How much time do you spend devoting your attention to things that make you feel good? So when you have acne, you'll notice this made up thing. But when you have the acne, you'll notice that your attention, the majority of your attention, at least 51% of your attention, is on the acne. And when you're reading about it and Googling it and blah, 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 you're focusing on the problem more than on the solution. And you're focusing how bad it feels. You're focusing on that, on how bad it feels, more than on how amazing your life is. This is very key right here. Because what we focus on expands, right? So if I'm always talking about how shitty I look, even if I have one pimple, that pimple is going to turn into 5 pimples and then 10 pimples and then 100 pimples. I'm just like exaggerating, but what I'm saying is that what you focus on, you fucking make real for yourself. And then you wonder, why is this happening? And of course, when you start Googling from a place of misalignment, right? When you start Googling about it, you're going to get really superficial, dumb answers. Nobody's going to tell you that you created it. They're going to tell you it's your fucking genes, it's your fucking diet, it's something else. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. And then guess the fuck what? When you feel worse about yourself, you're not going to get the stuff that you want, right? So what I'm trying to say is that what we devote all this energy and time and focus to is what we get. But many of us, we think that when we're focused on the solution, when we're actually focused on the problem, right? And this is very key. This distinction is key. I can't get the solution if I'm thinking with the same brain and the same way and the same patterns that created the problem. It's unavailable to me when this happens, right? So that's why I talk so much about alignment and knowing who you really are and that there's nothing wrong with you. Because when you come from that badass fucking place, oh my God, that only solutions are available to you. And then when dumb ideas come into your awareness, you're like, no, that's dumb, ignore. And then you keep going past the dumb shit because you're like, no, that's bullshit, no, that's not gonna help, no. And then you get to the solution. But I make it sound like you have to chase the you're not chasing the solution. The solution will find you as long as you chill the fuck out. But here's the other thing. There's this collective problem that we have as humans of control. And the reason we need to control is because we don't trust. And the reason we don't trust is because we feel unworthy, because we have forgotten who we really are, right? And so, do you understand? So, if I forgot that I'm a magnificent, deliberate creator and I can have anything I want, create anything I want, I'm an infinite being, holy fuck, I'm incredible, right? If I forgot that, then I'm gonna be like this, oh, what the fuck? I'm a victim, it sucks. And then from there, what's gonna happen? Bethy Rose says, note taken, chill the fuck out. Yes, control is a big issue. Yeah, so when we don't trust who we really are, we don't trust in ourselves, we don't trust that what we want is actually ours, we convince ourselves then that action is a good thing. It's because we lack that trust that we become impatient and we then act on that impatience. When you act out of impatience, or usually it's more than that, it's frustration, it's desperation. I don't feel good and I need this one thing to change and then maybe I'll feel good. That's the attitude with which we try to create usually. And so from there, we're like trying to control. What can I control? And then you think that the more you do, the more control you have, but really it's the opposite. You are ultimately just literally repelling the thing that you want, and you're making the problem worse than it had to be because you don't trust yourself enough to be the deliberate creator that you actually are. That's what alignment is. Alignment is the same as allowing, and resistance or misalignment is the same as disallowing what you want. So it's like, come here, clear skin. No, don't believe it. Don't believe it gets to be that easy. No, must do lots of dumb shit in the meantime. Oh, so it's like the clear skin is coming, you can pick it up in a certain way, but because you can't pick it up with your eyes, you don't believe that it's there and possible for you. Because you don't sense it with all your senses yet, right? Because we're trained to think that if I can see it, then it's true, then it's here. But with manifestation, it's not like that. It's 99.9% yours, but that means it's on its way, but then you stop believing it. And then you block it. Does this make sense? So just because you can't see it doesn't mean you should stop believing that it's possible for you. And many of us do. And then many of us make a disaster out of the situation instead of just chilling the fuck out. And so it's all kind of funny in the end. Especially when you start realizing like your own little self-sabotaging tricks. I think it's funny, but somebody else might think it's tragic based on their perception and based on their alignment, right? Because we can talk about perception and alignment in a moment, but what I'm trying to say is that we need to believe before we see. We need to be able to imagine what's possible before it actually is possible, right? And you notice that in the acne community, whether on Instagram or whatever, I don't give a fuck, there's this narrative of it's hard, it's difficult, it's complicated, it's confusing, right? So if that's the common narrative, that becomes the common perception. That's what people believe, then that is what they see. They see it being difficult because they believed it first that it's difficult, right? And I'm telling you that no, if you decide that it's easy, then it will be easy, and then you don't have to earn the ease because ease is who you are. When you're in alignment, that's when it requires, like, the least effort is required to get what you want. The least effort, okay? And if there is effort, it feels really easy, once again. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, I'm suffering through this. I remember I had this realization actually once when I got was it a head cold? I don't remember. I got sick in Ukraine, some kind of flu situation. Don't remember. Saw a doctor, pumped me full of antibiotics, and then they told me to put these hot things on my back. These hot things, like mustard patches. If you're Eastern European, you might know what I'm talking about. It's these mustard patches that you dip in water and then they fucking heat you. Except these mustard patches are supposed to be kept on for a short amount of time. And anyway, they're supposed to heat you and they think, I don't know why the fuck anyone would do this. But anyway, we listened to my doctor, who was also my godmother. And she said to put these patches on for, I think she said 2 to 5, no, she said for a couple of hours or until the morning, like as in overnight. So I kept these patches on for like 3 hours when it was excruciating pain. It was like the heat was so hot that it was like I likened it to pouring a boiling pot of water on my fucking back for 3 hours. That's how it felt. And I thought to myself, and I think I said this out loud, where I was like, how the fuck is this huge suffering supposed to heal something that was a lesser suffering? Like, before I wasn't in this much pain, so I'm doing this painful thing to get out of like a little amount of pain. And this is Accutane. This is fucking Accutane. Like, I'm just giving you an example of how we suffer so much more than we have to get rid of something that really is so small. It's a blip. Okay, it's a fucking blip. It's easy. But we do so much and we suffer through all the stuff that we do just to get rid of this tiny little blip. That doesn't make any sense. Does it? Does it? Oh man. Yeah, so what we have to learn to do is stop controlling and start trusting ourselves. And that to so many people may seem like a terrifying concept. But as a former control freak, oh my God, I am just so happy not to be a control freak anymore. And then of course I have my moments where I'm still a little bit like, and then I'm like, no, Olena, chill. And I have these experiences all the time too, where something happens and then my former instinct comes in to like try to control. And then I'm like, no. And that's the muscle we need to flex. That if we want to live a new experience, an easy experience, then that means we have to let go of the difficult one. You can't simultaneously live your fucking hard experience and your suffering and your struggle and all that fucking nonsense while having ease. It's impossible. But many of us, we don't let go of the hard while trying to get the easy. And then you're like, do you know what I mean? Samantha says that makes so much sense. Yeah, so that means quite literally becoming a new you. It means thinking different thoughts than you did before. So if before your whole narrative in your mind was like how difficult acne is, oh my God, only like a few people can get clear skin. Oh, it's a lifelong struggle. Oh, it takes years. Oh, it's expensive. Oh, it's complicated. How will I ever understand how to get clear skin? If that's the old narrative, well, for many people that is the fucking old narrative. So if you want a new experience, then that means new responses to shit. Not the old reactions, not the old thoughts, literally new responses, right? So you start telling a story of ease. And so once you start telling this new fucking story of how easy everything gets to be, then you get to live that new story. And really what it takes is just you focusing on that new story a little bit more than on your fucking old story. And that new story becomes more and more and more natural. And then that becomes your fucking experience. Just you watch. But again, many of us, we just spend so much more time on that old story, reliving it every fucking day, creating accounts, telling that story to everyone because we think everybody needs to hear our dumbass fucking limiting story, okay? And so, really what we're doing when we do that is we put ourselves out of allowing and into resisting. That's all that we're doing. When we keep telling the old story of how difficult it is, oh, I struggled today, somebody looked at me funny, oh, they must think I'm ugly, I feel so insecure. If that's your story every single fucking day, what are you creating? Of course, that experience over and over and over again. Let me see here. I'm just trying to stay on top of your comments. If you guys have any questions about this, by the way, then add below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I want to know if you resonate, if you've had a similar experience, if you've seen this, whether in other people or in yourself. Because once we become aware of these old ways of doing things, all that it takes is that awareness. Like, holy fuck. Yeah, I have been just thinking about my acne and calling it my acne, right? Instead of it's the acne, right? So, which I've talked to you guys about before, but maybe I'll repeat it for anyone who has missed that part. When we say my struggle, my acne, my depression, my anxiety, my brain thinks that I own this shit, I possess this shit, and it refuses to let go of it. Because mine is a very strong word. So you'll notice these acne accounts, they'll be like, my acne, my pimples, my face, my skin, my acne struggle, my acne journey, my Accutane journey, all this dumb shit. And it's just like, it's not, no, it's just, no, it's the. So if you want to hold on to good things in your life, then say my happiness, my joy, my relationship, my love, my experience, my wealth, good things, but my anxiety, oh man, and anxiety is another word that I personally don't even use. It's like one that I don't resonate with and I don't like. Sometimes I do feel anxious, but I noticed that I only feel anxious I started feeling more and more anxious, another airplane, when I learned the word anxiety. Because this is how the world works, okay? Whatever we perceive becomes our reality. So what we perceive is based on our beliefs, and beliefs are just a thought that we have again and again. So what's interesting is that a lot of us have decided together, well, not together, but yeah, I guess together, we decided that acne is a thing, right, that we perceive. So if I perceive it, you perceive it, it's much easier to perceive something if all of us are perceiving it, rather than if just one of us is. If just one of us is perceiving acne and the rest of us don't see it, then that one person would be considered crazy by the rest of us. And so what a lot of us are doing in this experience, especially when we're commiserating over something, is we're making something more real. We're giving it more energy. We're making it more and more and more real. And further, we talk about it with other people who maybe have never had acne, never considered it. They don't care about their skin. They're doing just fine. And then we talk about it with them. Acne, 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 acne. And then that person starts, also perceiving it. Everywhere they go, they start noticing acne. Acne, acne, acne. Ooh, suddenly, there's something happening on their skin. They look a little closer. Maybe I have acne. You know what I mean? And so perception is such a strong thing. Whatever you perceive becomes real for you. So if I can perceive an interaction as being positive, somebody else can perceive the same interaction as negative, right? And we could have had the same interaction, yet two different perceptions of it, and yet my perception is real for me, and their perception is real for them. So the point I'm trying to make is that, firstly, we're not responsible for anybody else's perceptions of us. So there is nothing you need to justify to anybody about who you really are, ever, right? And a lot of us, we play this comparison game, especially in the acne community, trying to justify our experience of acne, explain our experience of acne, just commiserate over our experience of acne. Some of us are fucking lonely and we just want validation, and so we'll talk about how terrible acne is even though we don't really fully believe what we're saying. But when we write about how terrible acne is, then we'll get 70 comments telling us, oh my god, yeah, I feel you, and that's how we create this common fucking experience for all of us. Does this make sense? So that's why I'm not a participant in all those fucking dumbass things. How do you feel about face masks and scrubs? I would recommend you check out my YouTube channel. I have a video on masks. Maura Elise says, yes, I also feel the more silly stuff and terms I learn, the more real they appear to me. Less is more. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I didn't know the word anxiety, so when I woke up with anxiety in the morning, I didn't have a word to describe it, so it just felt like something I feel, and then that's it. But then when you learn about the word anxiety, and then you add it to that feeling that you had, I'm not saying you shouldn't label your emotions or that's a dangerous game, but I'm just saying that before I could label that emotion, it wasn't a thing that I felt I experienced all the time, and it wasn't a thing I thought about or worried about. You know what I mean? It was just a passing feeling of anxiety that I had no label for. But when I had the label, I found myself waking up with fucking anxiety every fucking morning, right? And sometimes I still wake up with a bit of anxiety, and then all this work goes in. It's then I self-soothe and I tell myself amazing stories and I start, being grateful for every single fucking thing that I see, and I snap myself out of it, right? Because I make it sound like a lot of work. No, it's it becomes natural work that you want to do because you understand that old stuff is old programming, right? That's just coming up as this just autopilot kind of experience, right? And so you realize that you're actually the pilot, though. You go in there and you fucking grab the wheel, right? But over time, again, it becomes easy. So it's much easier to snap out of anxiety for me because I've practiced all these tools, right? So in the morning when I feel it, then I'll pick up a book that I love. This is Money and the Law of Attraction. I just had it right here. But I'm saying I'll pick up a book I like. I'll listen to something really, really good. I'll think about how I can help people. That always helps. Because the other thing I've noticed in the acne community is it's all me, 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 me. How do I feel? How do I look? How do people think about me? It's all the wrong questions. Nobody gives a fuck about you. That's the point. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody. I mean, like maybe like your husband or, you know, like your boyfriend or your mother, but otherwise nobody gives a fuck, right? And here we are. What do people think of me? What can I explain to people? Who can I compare myself to today? Anyway, sorry, I got off track. Let's see here. Samantha Coleman says, okay, oh my God, that's me. Okay, thank you. I need to do some more examining of my inner self and find these old patterns. Thank you. That was really helpful. My pleasure. And it doesn't mean that you're not alignment is a thing that you can get into and out of fucking 700 times a day, maybe 70,000 times a day, right? Any thought that you have, one isn't aligned and one is not, right? So the trick is practicing the stuff more and more and more consistently, and over time it becomes your new normal. As in, it is the original normal. I'm sorry, it's the original normal, but our old programming keeps us fucking down here. So when we dismantle the old programming, we naturally raise our vibe. And so we're back to the original natural state of abundance, ease, infinite potential, and all the, clear skin, obviously, right? Clear skin, obviously. House of Mid Matthew says, yes, Miss Olena, thank you. Samantha Jean Coleman says, no, it was simple, thank you. Okay, I'm super glad that this is landing. The River Fairy says, finding you was divine intervention. I have been doing a lot of spiritual work lately, talking to my guides and asking for guidance. You speak truth that I need to hear. Thank you, that's so nice, yay! Well, that's beautiful that you even have guides. I love that. I think we all actually have guides, but we don't know that we do. In fact, this is something else that we should remember, is that we're not alone here. You're not creating by yourself, you're creating with God. My mom said this awesome thing when I was flying from Toronto to Paris the last time. She's like, don't worry, you're flying with God. And I'm like, that was so cool, like flying with God. I loved that. The way she just said it, it was so natural and normal. And I'm like, that's God speaking to me. And so that's when we remember that we're actually creating with God. We're not alone here. It's so much easier to find that peace, to find that alignment, right? And to realize that you're being supported and taken care of the whole way. There's no moment where you're not being supported, right? But a lot of us, we forget this part. We think, okay, I'm a deliberate creator and I'm solely responsible for my creations. But who created you? So that which created you is now at your disposal. As in, you get to create with it. That's the whole point of all of this. So it gets to be really fucking fun. It gets to be really fucking easy. And you don't have to solely rely on your own whatever the fuck. And that's where praying comes in. Many people don't pray. And I don't mean like to go, like Jesus or some particular, whatever. No, just pray to whatever feels good to you. Me, I say the word God. I love the word God. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful concept. And I'm so happy that humans have this word, God. And in different languages, you have Bog in Ukrainian. I love it. I just love it. And so when you have a moment of difficulty or you have trouble finding alignment, just ask God for help. Or if God is a difficult concept for you to engage with because it's a word that, for some has a lot of baggage associated with it because religion fucking ruined it a little bit, then you can use the term manager. Think of it as like a big fucking manager that just knows your life and everything way better than you. Is like a fucking magician, is very, very skilled and can get anything done that you ever need to get done. And just whatever you need to get done, whether it's your health, whether it's your whatever, just be like, hey manager, I really appreciate everything that you do for me. Can you help me figure out how to get clear skin? Or, hey manager, can you just give me some inner peace right now? Because I'm having a little trouble thinking straight right now. Can you help me see things differently? And things like that. And when you have this playful attitude about it, it becomes so much easier, right? Because we put so much pressure on the outcome. A lot of us, we want to skip the process and get to the outcome. And many of us, we think that if we don't enjoy the process, we could get to the outcome. But you can't, because if the process is not joyful, then you're going to get a fucking shitty as fuck outcome. And that is what many people in the acne community do, is they struggle through it. They hate every second of it. Every day they wake up and they talk about how much they hate it, okay? The process. And then in the end, they don't get the fucking outcome of clear skin because the process was not joyful, right? So the key here is to make that process as easy, flowy, joyful, fun as possible. And when you do that, then the outcome is guaranteed. And it's usually even better than you could have imagined. That's really the cool part, because we think we want stuff, but what we want is only a fraction of what's possible for us, right? So then when we just let go and lean into it, go with the flow and really just enjoy, we get surprised. And like for me, I see this all the time when I just like let go of the reins. There's a surprise comes and I'm like, oh, that was cool. I'll give you a little example of a financial example, because this is something that I worked on quite a bit, my money mentality. Because once upon a time, I had these really strong beliefs around money that it was very difficult to earn. And like, you had to really work hard, and like, you had to be like a certain way and work for a certain company, blah, blah, blah. And that was the only way to be successful financially, right? And so I had to dismantle a lot of beliefs around that, to the point where now, if ever somebody, can't afford a routine review, for instance, this happens sometimes where somebody buys a routine review and then they run into something in their lives and they're just like, Olena, I can't go through with the routine review. Do you mind giving me a refund? My first time this happened, I remember I was like, but this was like ages ago when it wasn't even that expensive. I was like, it felt kind of heavy, but then I'm like, no, I'm a fucking deliberate creator. This is nothing. Yes, refund, easy. So I would get it done. And then literally, it would be like within 2 hours or something, somebody else would come along and buy the routine review for like a bigger price. And I have this happen literally, it's like sometimes moments afterwards, somebody just swoops in and say I give a refund for up to that point, because with a payment plan it would be like $300, then I'll make $800. You know what I mean? And it's just like so cool how that happens like every time, because I have a new belief that I make money, period. Like there's not a moment where I don't make money. I just make money because I breathe. That's my new fucking story. Imagine telling a story like that, and then you can tell a story about clear skin. Like, I have clear skin because I breathe. And in fact, when I breathe calmly and I'm relaxed and enjoying myself, that's when my skin is the clearest, right? So if you tell yourself these totally fucking opposite stories of those old beliefs, things really, really fucking change. And they change fast. This isn't a lifelong fucking thing that you have to, continuously like try to convince yourself of. Once you tell that story a couple of times, you're going to start believing it and you're going to start seeing the results. Drake Christina says, another amazing live, Olena. I need to get ready for work. So signing off, love. Thank you for joining. The River Fairy says, I need a friendly kick in the butt to start rewiring my negative thoughts. Currently unfollowing my acne pages, self-loathing pages. That's what those pages are, though. It's self-loathing. Why would anyone want to share like themselves when they're feeling their worst? And what's ironic is a lot of these acne people, they try to convince other people as though they're really cool with their breakouts. It's like convincing people that I'm really cool, that I have blisters every single fucking day on my feet. And instead of changing the shoes, I'm going to keep wearing these fucking uncomfortable shoes, keep making these blisters on my feet, and I'm just going to normalize blisters. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's other areas of you that you can share that you're proud of and that you love. And that's what I'm saying. We have to focus on what we love about ourselves, not what we don't love. And we can't lie energetically and be like, I'm sharing something I fucking loathe about myself, but I'm going to tell a really positive story around it. Yep. It's a lie. It's a lie. Like what the fuck? I mean, obviously you can accept yourself and love yourself through it, but I just don't believe the stories. I don't believe the stories. And again, the hashtag normalize acne, even acne positivity, I'm like, what? And you know what I have to say is, this is the issue. Acne makes us myopic. Acne makes us think that there's something wrong with us. And then we start to focus on our skin. And again, I told you in the beginning of this live, when that's your thinking, then you ask the question of, how do I get rid of acne? How do I heal the acne? How do I da da da? But you don't ask yourself, or the internet, you don't say, how does my skin work? And then take a step back, how does my body work? And then take a step back, how does my mind work? And then take a step back, how does the universe work? Because that was my thinking. When I was trying to, find a solution to acne, I was determined, and I knew that it would be me. I just knew this. And my questions were different than the normal questions online. And, in terms of SEO, search engine optimization, they tell me that I have to, basically title my articles the way people would ask them. The way people would ask the question about acne, like, how do I get rid of acne, instead of how do I get clear skin? My natural thing would be, how do I get clear skin? But somebody else would ask, how do I get rid of acne? So, it's like I don't even resonate with that frequency. And so it's something I'm actually like kind of working on. Like, how do I even talk about this subject in a way that would resonate with the most people, but without making it sound worse than it is, and without like feeding into this old paradigm of what acne is. Because to me, it's an old paradigm, right? I don't resonate there. It doesn't make any sense to me. And yet, this is how most people think about it. C263S says, "Hi Olena, you are just so inspiring and deep, and I'm always happy to watch you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and making it so easy and natural. I am learning from you every minute." Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Oh, I love that. That's it feels very, very rewarding to hear messages like that. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, because the right people who are ready to hear this, right, they show up and they listen. And yesterday I was thinking to myself, like, yesterday's live was so good. I think that if everyone saw this live, then everyone would have clear skin, I thought to myself. And like amazing lives in general, like dream lives. And then I'm like, but how do I convince people to see this? And so I did my little Instagram stories talking about how amazing this thing is and how I should charge money for it because it's so good and so effective. But it's still only going to resonate with, certain people who are ready to hear it. It's never going to resonate with the people who are not ready to hear it. Do you know what I mean? So that's who I talk to when I show up on these lives, right? The people who are ready to change, the people who are tired of the old fucking stories. And they're like, yeah, I'm ready to fucking be awesome. And also I have to tell you guys, this really cool thing is, so when one of us feels better, all of us feel better. That's how it kind of, in layman's terms, how it works. So often we'll have opportunities in our day-to-day life to respond differently to a situation than we would have in the past. And I like to use this example of, you have an argument with your spouse and you walk away and you slam the door. You do that enough times, you're lowering the vibration of our collective consciousness. But if in the next time you get pissed off and you walk away and you don't slam the door, that's you slightly working on it, right? And then the next time, instead of arguing, you kind of talk calmly, you know what I mean? And then you get through to each other and you love each other and you hug through it, or blah, blah, blah. You see, that raises our collective consciousness more. So all of us are responsible for our own happiness, but together our happiness raises the vibration of our planet so that we can create a really, really beautiful place to live. Because as you know, there's a lot of crazy shit happening in the world today. And so part of what's happening is this collective awakening. And a collective awakening means choosing those thoughts more wisely, letting go of old stories. That's what's literally happening. This is the age of Aquarius. I happen to be an Aquarius. Oh man, it's just so cool. So yeah, lots of cool stuff is happening on the planet, and just take every opportunity in your personal experience, like with the acne, with your relationships, with your job or whatever, to become more of who you've always been, the original you, right? The one that before all the conditioning and the socializing and the comparison and the dumb shit, right? So when we step into our higher selves each time, oh my God, It's really, really amazing for the planet. The River Fairy says, oh my God, yes, literally had this moment last night. I found my BF smoking in the garage, and normally it makes me so upset and I make a snarky comment and storm off. But after your live yesterday, she keeps typing, ... cliffhanger. I just smiled and walked away calmly, and he came in 20 minutes later and was like, I'm gonna quit, babe. I got this. Manifest that shit. Exactly. That's the path of least resistance right there. A smile. And this is difficult for even me. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, but here's the answer. It's so obvious. But it's like sometimes we have to allow the other person to come to the answer themselves. And this is the hard part. When we're, manifesting stuff collectively and co-creating stuff with like our loved ones especially, right? We often think we know the answer and we just want to help them. Just come here, come with me, And it's like we can't. Because when we do that, firstly, we're judging them, blah, blah, blah. And then we are just overcomplicating shit. And we're basically following the path of most resistance when we start judging and being like, oh, you better be more like this. You want control. And even when we're not judging out loud, a frown or a slamming of the door or whatever, it's enough to send the message. And vibrationally speaking, like, they'll get the message, okay? And for our collective consciousness, we'll also all get the message. So the more of us that are, practicing new ways of being, new ways of aligned being, the better for every single one of us collectively. So know that you're not even alone in this. You're not even impacting the next person. You're impacting everyone, everything. So I just wanted to give you a little extra level of responsibility there to consider. And that's why it's so important for us not to be so obsessed with our skin, because we are distracted from the bigger mission at large of raising our collective consciousness, right? So anytime I'm depressed over my skin and obsessed with it, I'm not out there helping people, right? I'm not like out doing lives and stuff. How could I? Right? And so, do you understand? Like if I was obsessed with myself every single day, just looking in the mirror, oh my God, I would not be showing up. I would not be in alignment. I would not be saying the things that I'm saying to you, right? So can you imagine the absence of that? Like I liken it to like, this is a stupid example, but Steve Jobs, if he didn't, go out and follow his passion, create these awesome computers and phones and stuff that have now taken over our lives, but still, it was a cool idea when it started, right? Like if he just hid, obsessing, say he had acne, obsessing over his acne, there would be no iPhones. So we have to stop. There's a greater purpose that we each have, and it does not anywhere involve us obsessing over our pores. I have a minute and a half remaining. I'm just going to read that last comment. I am running in an isolation mood as I feel like staying away from people who are supposed to be friends but are judging and lowering my vibe, and I'm not living by anybody's approval or validation. Yeah, that's okay though. It's like Phil Good says, that's the same as say you're allergic to a certain food, but you keep trying to eat the food. It's not for you, this food. So if your vibration is wherever it is, and the people in your life, their vibration is elsewhere, it's like you trying to eat the food that you're allergic to. It just won't work, right? So you do you, because that sometimes it's necessary to break off into separate paths. And if you ever, need to come together, you will in the right time, in the right way, and it will feel easy, okay? So don't judge yourself for that either. 33 seconds remaining. Ula is here. But I just don't feel like being around these kinds of friends. Then don't. Who is forcing you? Who is holding a knife to your throat, or I don't know, bad example. But anyway, who's forcing you? Nobody. You're forcing yourself. You have thoughts that I should. Those are just those old thoughts that I'm talking about. Create new thoughts. I'm going to make friends that feel amazing. And then create and have those friends. 5 seconds. Ula, I see you, but I gotta go. See you guys next time. Thank you.